Hey, and welcome to Unlearning Stress, the podcast where we break the rules and cycles that keep you overcommitted, overstretched, and just plain exhausted, and replace them with something better. No fluff, no guilt, just real talk, real solutions, and expert insights to help you shift the way you live. Whether you're here for the first time or you've been with me for a while, you're in the right place. I'm Mischelle O'Neal, your resident emotional wellness coach, and I'm here to help you unlearn the patterns that are wearing you down so you can live with more ease, clarity, and control. Let's get to it.
Have you ever noticed just a simple thing like your phone ringing can actually cause your whole body to tense up even before you know who it is, right? That's the moment that we're unpacking today. So let's start there, okay? Okay, look, the phone rings, your head jerks before your mind even decides, and you look at the name. Instinct says, answer, right? Because that's what you do and what you've always done. But your body is already yelling, let it go, not now. And you override that voice. So let's stop pretending that you don't know what would happen next, because you do. You already know the tailspin. The bile is creeping up in your throat. Your heart is pounding faster. Thoughts are scrambling to hold the whole world together. What could it be, right? You knew, and you still picked up, not accidentally, but knowingly. So I'm going to ask you a question. No one else will. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Look, stop right there. Don't rush to defend it. Don't give me excuses. Just sit with that. Why do you keep doing this to yourself? Your first answer is going to be a reflex. Because I have to. Why? Because they need me. Why? Because I'm the mom, the wife, the leader, the lead. I'm supposed to. Who told you were supposed to? Sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's your work culture, sometimes a church message that equates love with self-erasure. But if we're honest, the loudest voice that we hear is our own. You enforced that rule long after anyone said it out loud. So today isn't about blaming them. Acceptance starts with confronting your own participation. And here's what denial sounds like. I don't have a choice. You do. You just don't like what the choice may cost. Denial hides inside noble words like I'm being responsible, dependable, servant heart, a servant leader. But responsibility without boundaries is not virtue. It's a slow collapse dressed up as character. Here's what anger sounds like. I'm like this because of them. Maybe they trained you, but you're the one that keeps renewing that contract. Somewhere in the compliment, you're so good at this, became that lifetime obligation. Who signed it? You did. Every time you answer, even though your whole body says no, you sign that contract again. So we're going to use that anger not to burn the house down, but to finally see the house you built. Then we'll ask the only question that matters. If you didn't believe that lie, the one that says, I must be available to be loved, If you didn't believe that, what would you believe instead? What would change in your pace, your presence, your phone, your work, your week? What would change? So before we move, look at your own evidence. When you didn't step in, did the world fall apart? Did it end? No. Think of the last time that you said, I'm tired. You're going to have to figure this out on your own. They did. They ordered pizza. They survived. And it was good, right? The sky stayed up. You have that proof that constant availability isn't the glue that's holding their lives together. It's just the habit that's holding you hostage. One more truth, and I'm going to be blunt. The always on lifestyle is not neutral. It's correlated with the motives. Burnout systems in an environment where availability is the norm. That burnout symptom has become the norm in our society and in your environment. So acceptance starts here today. That's why I'm here, and that's why you're here with me. Because your body has been telling the truth first, and you've been overriding it. And today, you will stop calling that strength. We're going to work through it together. And when your phone rings, tell me, where do you feel it first? I'd love to hear in the comments. Is it in your chest? Does your jaw tighten? Does your heart beat faster? Does your stomach get nauseous? Where does it show up for you? Or what's one that you didn't step in and everyone was okay? Who hears? Who out there hears? I don't have a choice in your head most days. So let's talk about what acceptance is and it isn't. Because a lot of us get that word wrong. And why supposed to is not a fact. You're not supposed to. So we just looked at the pattern, and that's always being on and stepping in. And that moment when your body says stop and your mind still says go. So we know what it is. And seeing the pattern is actually step one. You're aware of it. But owning how you keep it alive is step two. And you can't change what you won't call by name. So acceptance is not giving in. It's being honest. That's it. It's saying, this is real. I've played a part in it. And I'm ready to stop fighting the wrong thing. For example, I can't change that my phone rings, right? It does. But I can change what I do when it does. Acceptance isn't about the blame. It's about taking your power back. It's not an agreement. We always think when we accept things that we agree with it. That's wrong. You can accept something without liking it. For example, I can accept that all snakes aren't dangerous, right? I know that. All snakes are not dangerous. But it doesn't mean that I have to invite one in because I accept that truth. Facing what's true, it takes more strength than pretending it isn't there. And keeping the mask on that we wear every day is what wears us out. It's not forever. Acceptance is not forever. Just because you accept it now doesn't mean that it's forever. You're not saying that this fact is my life now. You're saying, this is where I start from. I accept that this is the truth. Now, where do I go from here? So there's a difference. There's a difference. And fake acceptance is saying something like, it's fine, I'll just handle it. That's fake. Your shoulders tense, your smile is tight, and your voice is flat. But real acceptance is, this isn't fine. I've been dealing with this too long and I'm ready to face it. I'm ready to decide that I need to do something about it. So which one feels right to you right now? Are you saying, I'm fine and I'll just handle it? Or are you ready to step into, this isn't fine and I've been dealing with this too long? I accept that this is what's going on, but it's not fine. And I'm ready to face it, do something about it. The body always tells the truth first, but you got to learn to hear it, to know what it's saying, and to understand its language. So when you're still fighting reality with your jaws tight, your neck stiff, and this shallow breath and your heart racing, when you start to accept it, your shoulders drop a little bit. You breathe deeper. And it feels strange at first because this isn't how you should be feeling. This isn't how you should be reacting. In fact, it feels wrong. What's wrong with me? Am I selfish? Am I unfeeling? Because calm, that understanding of you're doing the right thing for you isn't familiar yet. And peace feels weird when stress has been your home for so long. Studies show that about half of the women say that, actually it's about 51% of the women say they feel stressed most of the day. That means that your feeling isn't just in your head, it's happening to a lot of bodies just like yours. You're not alone. And your body isn't betraying you. It's trying to get your attention. It's trying to make you aware of what's going on and it's saying, hello, hey, yo, I'm here. That's what's happening. So let's look at some things. And I want you to reflect and say, and tell me, where do you feel it first when you're fighting what's real? When you know what's real, where do you feel it first? Do you feel it in your shoulders, your neck? Do you start feeling that tightness in your chest? What about that nausea in your stomach? Right here in your throat? Who said it's fine this week when it wasn't fine? Which one of you? Go ahead and raise your hand. Go ahead and put the raise your hand emoji in there, or just raise your hand or tell me. Or say it to yourself. What would it look like to accept what's true without giving up on yourself? Do you even have an idea? I want you to think about that. I want you to picture it in your mind. I want you to go there. So now that you know what acceptance really is, which is really just honesty with yourself, not blame, not surrender. Now we're going to talk through the 5 whys. I always say, never stop with the first why, because you're still fooling yourself. At least go 5 deep. And I'm not saying you have to stop there either. If there's more to uncover, but we're going to do the 5 whys and see how this pattern has kept its grip on you for so long, right? Acceptance sees it. But the 5 whys, they start to dig it up by the roots. And that's what we really want. So let's walk through something that happens all the time. I just want to pick something that maybe you deal with. You get that last minute call from a family member. Maybe it's your sister or a cousin, whoever. And they say, I need your help. I have a dinner tonight and my boss and his wife is coming and you're so good at doing these events and putting this together. Come on, can you please help me? Now, the first thought that probably pops into your mind is, how long have you known about this dinner? Why are you calling me last minute? I've already got plans. And before you even go past that, you say, sure, I'll help. Who said that, right? You've done it before, right? How many times have you done it before? And you hang up. You hang up the phone, and right then, you know what you really did is you just pushed all of your life aside. You pushed what your plans were, what you wanted to do, and you're telling yourself, I just wanted to help. I knew she needed my help and I could do it faster than she could, right? But deep down, you knew what saying yes would actually cost you. You probably wouldn't get to bed till late, so it's going to cost you your sleep. There's a slight anger building up in you at her and at yourself, so it's costing you your peace, right? And maybe it cost you your evening with your family or your friends because you had something planned, remember? And now you've pushed all of that aside to do something for someone else. And I'm not saying it's wrong to help others. But what is wrong is when you keep doing it to yourself and you really don't want to. So let's ask the first why together. You ready? Why did you say yes? And maybe you said something to yourself like, because I had to. Okay. Well, why do you have to? Because she needs me, right? Okay. Well, why is it your job to make sure she's okay? Because I'm the one who knows how to do it, and she knows I know how, and it would be really easy for me to do. Okay. Why do you always have to be the one who knows how? Is there anyone else who could have helped you? Is it something she could have figured it out on her own? Because if I don't, she'll look bad, and I don't want her to look bad. I want her to shine in front of her boss, and I'd feel guilty that something went wrong because I didn't help her. Why would you feel guilty for someone else's choice or skill? That one stings. Because now you see it. It's not about the food or the favor. It's about the guilt and the proving that you're good, that you care, that they can depend on you. So take a breath. I needed a breath. Don't rush past this. What are you thinking right now? When we just went through that exercise, what are you thinking? Just go ahead and say it in your head. You don't have to tell me. But if you want to, I'd love to know. And some calming thoughts that you may hear are, I can't believe I keep doing this. Or why am I like this? Why do I keep falling for this? Why do I keep doing this? That's not shame talking. That's your awareness. So here's what I tell you. If we were face to face, if we were sitting face to face, kind of like we are now, but I could touch you. You don't have to keep doing this. You really don't. We can stop it right now. You and I together. So I want you to close your eyes for a second. And I want you to picture that same call coming in. You see the name. You feel the pull. Because you know she always does this, right? She's done it before. Now, remember, picture it. Instead of jumping in, see yourself setting that phone down. You take one breath and you let the message go to voicemail. As you picture this, I want you to notice what's happening in your body. Does your chest feel lighter? Do your shoulders just drop a little? That tightness kind of seems like it's melting away. Maybe there's a strange calm that feels almost wrong. That's okay. Your body is talking to you. Hey, hello. Learn to listen and heed it. When you ignore it, that's when exhaustion starts building up again. That small change that we just walked through, setting the phone down, it may seem tiny, but if you're honest with yourself, it's hard. It's hard when you're used to always picking it up. But it's how a new pattern starts. You're teaching your brain and your body that peace, that feeling of release is safe. Next time that guilt tries to climb back in, remember this picture we just went through. You've already proved, get this, you've already proved you can choose differently. I told you, 51% of women feel stress most days. And it's not a weakness. It's overuse of that same muscle. But you can break that. And you can give that muscle a rest. And the name of that muscle is responsibility. Every time you say yes, when your body says no, that stress, it spikes. It spikes again. And this is how you start bringing it down. That's what the 5 whys do. They strip away excuses until the truth is standing there and it finally shines, waiting for a new decision. Don't you want to do that stripping away? Stay with this picture of calm that we just created here for a minute and let it sit. Because next, we're going to walk through the emotions that show up right after this exercise, these 5 whys. And that's grief. That's your denial and your anger and the whole cycle and how to move through them. is what we're going to do without getting stuck. So we've just gone through the 5 whys. So are you ready for this? Because now it's time to actually deal with what comes up after you see the truth. When you finally recognize that you've been saying yes when your body says no because you felt it. You've learned it. Well, now something happens inside of you. That thing that rises up, you gave it a name, it's grief. And grief isn't just about death. A lot of us, that's what we think. Grief is death, but grief happens whenever there's a significant change. When things happen in our lives and when there's a letting go. It's when you feel something ends or when you realize something you believed wasn't true. There's grief associated with all those. Grief is a loss. It can be a person. It can be a vision or a dream that you've had for yourself for so long. And now you have to let it go. It could be that empty nest syndrome when the kids finally say, bye, Mom. And you have to let them go. There's a sense of grief there. And it can be even a habit that you've created that once made you feel safe. Every time you grow, you leave something behind. That made me think of a snake. As he grows out of his old skin into something new and even more stronger and beautiful. And he leaves that unusable shell of who he used to be behind him. So every time you walk through this, you grow. No matter how painful it is, you grow. And so you've probably walked through grief more times than you realize. When your children grew up, right? When a friendship shifts or when you stop being needed in the same way, all of that. And right now, you're grieving the whole version of you, the one who's always stepping in. Why? Why can't I be her? I don't want to be her anymore. Grief doesn't move in a single line. It cycles. Sometimes you can move from denial to anger to sadness and then right back to denial again. It's no perfect way to go, no perfect line of moving through, and that's normal. There's no schedule. There's only movement. And you get to decide where you want to sit. So right now, you may be fighting me in your head. That's denial. Denial sounds like this. That's not me. No, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not like that. I don't do that. I had no choice. It's just what I had to do. Okay. If that's true, tell me what's right. What do you believe is true? What's really going on here? And I want you to say it out loud. I want you to hear yourself say that. Denial is your mind's way of protecting you from the reality of pain. But protection can also keep you stuck. If you hear yourself defending your pattern, that's your cue that this is denial talking. And then maybe you smooth into anger. And it can come fast, real fast. You might think, why did I let her talk me into this again? Why did I do this? I know better. Or why didn't somebody else step up? Why do I always have to be the one? Sometimes you aim that anger, like I just did, at the other person. Why did I, no, actually, that was at me. Why did I let her talk to? But sometimes you said, she needs to stop calling me all the time, right? Or sometimes you face the fact that your part in it is the, why did I let her talk me into this again? Or more honestly, why did I fall for that again? So if we're honest, most of that is towards ourselves. Anger isn't bad, okay? It's not a bad thing. It's a signal that you finally care enough to fight for yourself, that you don't want to feel like that no more, that you don't want to be treated or what you feel is treated that way anymore, whether it's someone else treating you that way or you treating yourself that way. So use that anger. Don't live there, but use it. It means that you're awake, that you're aware. Here's where we start trying to make a deal with ourselves. That's the stage of bargaining and negotiation. Next time I'll say no, unless it's really important. So we said, I'll say no, but then we put that caveat on the end, unless it's really important. Important for who? Her or you? Or what about, maybe I can still help, but not as much. Maybe I'll just tell her the recipes and I'll walk her through how to do it, but I don't have to go over there. Doesn't that take a lot of your time as well? Or you say, maybe I can just do them here for her, right? Make the meals here and she comes over and get them. Still taking your time. And what that is that's your brain trying to stay comfortable. And it's normal. But this is where you decide whether you'll go back to the old pattern or move forward. This is the one that we need to really pay attention to. Because bargaining almost sounds right. And then sometimes we slip into sadness. And this is the one we like to skip most time, but it's the one that heals. Get this. You realize what saying yes has cost you. We talked about it in bargaining and negotiation, that it's costing you your time, your energy, your rest, your relationships, that time with your family. Is it all worth it? Think about those moments that somehow you've missed and it hurts. In fact, you may even cry. But that's okay, because that's honesty. And if you feel that lump in your throat right now, I want you to stay with it. Because you're not breaking down. You're just breaking up. You're breaking up with that old lie, that old pattern. And here is the final stage, where acceptance is. It's the final line. It's the finish line. It's a deeper level of truth. It's you finally being able to say, yes, I did do that. Yes, it cost me. And yes, I can choose differently next time. This is where your peace starts. Not where everything's fixed, but when you stop pretending, you notice what your body is doing. And so what I want you to do is we talk through this and is notice what your body, be aware of what's going on right now. Notice what your body is doing right now. Do you still have that tight jaw, that heavy chest? Are your shoulders down now? Each stage that we walk through shows up in your body. Denial tightens it. Anger heats it up. Sadness drops your energy. And acceptance, it releases it. Your body is still talking to you. I want you to keep listening. This whole process is about becoming brutally honest with yourself. When you can see what you're doing and how you feel and why you feel it, you've started telling yourself the truth. That's the foundation for everything that comes next. In the next section, I want you to build a declaration. And I know we're longer and your break time may have gone away or fizzled out or ended, but you can come back to this. And we're going to build a declaration. That's our exercise. The words that help you stand on truth and protect it. When old patterns try to pull you back, this declaration is your lifeline. Excuse me. We walk through grief and we face the truth about what we've been doing. But I couldn't leave you today without rebuilding. This part is where we stop living in reaction and we start standing in truth. You're not proving anymore. You're remembering. And that's what a declaration is. It's the combination of proving and remembering. It isn't something to make you feel better. It's truth that that's already proven itself in your life. It's the evidence that you forgot and the proof that you've already done the hard things. You just don't remember that you handled pressure. You survived the storms, and you made it through. Think of it like this. It's that moment when you say, wait a minute, I've done this before. That deja vu kind of moment. And a declaration brings that truth back to the front so that you can walk in it again. So let's go back to that family call. You said yes again, right? Even though you were exhausted. Later you thought, why did I do that? Here's where the declaration comes in. You look back at the times that you said no, and it worked out. Remember when you told them you'll have to figure it out, and they ordered pizza, and nobody died? Nobody fell apart. That's your proof. The world didn't fall apart because you said, I'm tired. No. Your declaration may sound something like, I don't have to step in every time someone calls because people can handle it more than I think. I can rest and know that they'll be okay because they have in the past. And then you start remembering all those times in the past. That's not wishful thinking. That's truth. That's backed up by proof, by evidence. That's how you know if something is true. Now, I want you to think about a pattern that you've been in and ask yourself, what's something that I've been telling myself that I can't do? And what proof do I have that I actually have, that I've already done it. I have already made it through that or done that before or proven that before. Maybe you thought, I can't make good decisions. But look at all the right ones that you've made that kept your family, your job, or your sanity intact. Those weren't bad decisions. Those were right and good decisions. Maybe you thought, I can't say no. But remember that one time you did and everything was okay? The wall stayed up. The world kept revolving, right? That's your proof. Now build your own declaration from that. Start with the words of I can or I am. I can pause before I decide. I can make right decisions. I can say no without letting it fill me with guilt. I can say no without the world falling apart. I am capable of leading my life with peace. Remember those times you did? And you can speak it out loud, or you can give it voice. Or if that doesn't work for you, if you're one that likes to see it on paper, write it down, make it visible, if that helps. Or, my favorite, you can anchor it in your body. Maybe by taking a deep breath, or do something that I like calling the heart breath. Just put your hand over your heart. Feel the beating of your heart. You're alive. And take a deep breath. And feel what happens in your heart and how that breath flows through your heart. Whatever fits you, whatever works for you, just choose it and do it and let that be your cue. And every time that old thought or that old inclination starts to rear its ugly head, use your cue and repeat your declaration. Remember, this isn't mess, chaos. This is evidence. This is truth that you can build on. You're not pretending something is true. You're not just saying something because you want it to be true. You're standing on what has already been proven. When you look back and you see how far that you've come, that's your receipt. Keep it. Put it in your receipt drawer. Don't shred it. You've already lived through what you thought you couldn't. That's not luck. That's strength that maybe right now you forgot that you had. So come on, let's find that receipt. You're no longer proving. You have the truth. You know the proof. So now your cue is to remember. And that truth is what steadies you when life tries to pull you back into that old pattern. Next, what we're going to do, so riled up, right? is we'll bring the body and the mind together with a simple reset that you can use anytime you return to truth. So I want to just take a quick minute right here. And I want you to remember what we did today. You did some work, and it's taken a little time, but I thought it was worth it. I thought you were that important. I know you are that important. And so we faced the truth. We named a loss. and you've written your declaration. That declaration isn't just words, it's a signal to your whole system that says, we're safe now. We can live differently. That's the reset. It's your body realizing that you're back in charge. And so before you head into the rest of your day, take one breath with me. Inhale through your nose. Let your shoulders roll back. And exhale slowly through your mouth. You've got some work. If you want, place your hand over your heart and do what I told you, or what I shared with you about the heart breath. Whatever feels natural for you, that's your cue. And I'm grounded. I'm here. And you know what? I'm okay. If you wrote one declaration down today, whisper it now. If you don't, borrow mine until yours takes shape. I don't have to step in every time someone needs me. I can pause. I can breathe. And let others stand up on their own. Because I've done it in the past. And if you need to, name those ways you've done it in the past. The last time I was too tired to cook dinner, they found a way to eat. The last time she needed my help, she figured it out on her own. Whatever it is, remember your proof. This isn't about being calm for a moment. This is about remembering that you decide how you show up, not guilt, not pressure, not habit. Every time you say your declaration, you're retraining your body to follow your truth instead of your fear. We've learned about what acceptance looks like, how it feels, and how to claim it with the truth. You've walked through the whys, 5 or more if you need them, and the grief, the many steps of grief, and the declaration that now belongs to you. Look, this is just the beginning. I'm building something for us, and I am so excited about it. A space where women can live this kind of truth together. And I'm so excited about what's coming. And I want you to be a part of it. So stay close, stay curious, and keep practicing that declaration. I want you to take one more breath, shoulders back, head high. You're steady for whatever the rest of the day holds. Bye-bye.
If this episode hits home, don't just push it aside. Lean into it. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And connect with me on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Substack, where we go even deeper. Links will be in the comments. And if you're ready to start unlearning the patterns that keep you stuck, keep listening, because real change happens one choice at a time. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.